Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Floor Planner. My name is Bob, and as I always say, I'm here for you all as I support your customer success as you continue to learn and develop your technique in utilizing the Floor Planner platform. Today, a little short video for you all as we try to put out some monthly recaps and updates of the new features and tools. I'm going to talk about December 2024. By the way, it is Happy New Year for 2025, but there was some activity that occurred for December. So a little quick review of some of that. Mainly talking about the new updates for the basic users, the one subscription that is free with Floor Planner, mainly intended for the casual user or to learn more about Floor Planner. So we'll talk about some changes that were made to that basic level account so that we can continue to offer a free offering, such as it is, and then talk a little bit more about, in conjunction with that, how the groups tool works and is now available for all, and also the favorites tool, how that's also available for all of our subscriptions with some limitations for the basic free account. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and take a peek at my login. I'm actually logged into my Floor Planner account currently. And as we're looking at this, where do we find those updates? Because Floor Planner is not a stagnant program. It continues to evolve. The programmers over in the Netherlands take full advantage of the new technologies as they come available and find opportunities to introduce these new tools and features into your platform. Again, it happens instantaneously inside your platform, but it's nice to know what are those new changes and where to find those. So if you go to your Floor Planner dashboard as we are currently and hit that dashboard tab up in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see on the right-hand sidebar the new features tab. If you hit the more button on the new features tab, you will get a running list starting with the most current at the top, and then you can scroll through the past history. So a couple items we're going to be talking about today, obviously groups and favorites. And we left off last time talking about the new background scenes and the different windows, etc. So again, if you thought you missed anything in the past year, you can scroll through here very quickly and take a peek at anything you think you might have missed along the way. Learn a little bit more about them, but we're certainly going to be talking about the groups and favorites today, as they've been extended as a tool and feature for all of the 6 different subscription levels, including basic inside Floor Planner, and also talking about the changes that were made. We'll talk about those changes just for a second. Floor Planner's intention is to always work hard to go ahead and continue to have a free offering of the basic level out there. In doing so, we had to make a few modifications, starting with, we're extending our favorites and group features to all our users, which we just mentioned. Yet the changes to the basic subscription free account intro into Floor Planner, um, the limitations have been put in place that you can now create a limit of 5 free SD Lite projects. Yet those 5 SD Lite projects have additional tools and features. So there's a complement to them, a limit, but yet now a complement to go ahead and build the groups and also the favorites. The groups for those particular free projects will be limited to 5 groups that you can create for free. And also the favorites for the basic level would be 20 currently. So you can create 20 favorites. Yet, if you elevate your platform and your subscription to plus or higher, you have unlimited groups and favorites. So a great benefit for sure. The additional caveat that was added to those 5 free SD Lite projects for your basic account, free entry level, is that you can now work with multiple floors. Your limit on those 5 projects would be up to 3 floors, 3 different stories and floors. So some really great benefits with that new limitation that as a basic holder, we're talking 5 free projects. Yet you can also, as a basic holder, purchase credits. Remember, credits are utilized to upgrade your project levels. And at that point, if you need something beyond as a basic holder, more than those 5 free projects, as a casual user of Floor Planner, you can go ahead and purchase credits and actually upgrade to starting an SD level project, which requires 2 credits to do so. Or even better is to just upgrade your free basic account subscription and start with the Plus or Pro account as a single 1-person user. And then you'll have the additional features available to you, plus having credits available for upgrading project levels. Whatever works best for you, depending on your personal needs from your side as utilizing the Floor Planner platform. I want to go ahead and take a little bit more time to talk to you about groups and favorites, in case you're not aware. Let's go ahead and actually go into my Floor Planner account for a second. And let's talk about groups and favorites. So we're going to go ahead and open up one of my projects, use it as an example. So since we now have groups and favorites available to all 6 different subscriptions of Floor Planner, favorites. Favorites. You can favorite objects. You can also favorite materials and paints. Even custom paints can be favorited. So favorites, how would we work favorites? Favorites are certainly over here in your Objects tab on the left-hand side. And as you create your own favorites, that little heart in the upper left-hand corner would be depending on if you're at your Objects tab or your Materials tab. You see that heart up there? That'll actually be the identifier, that icon, to go ahead and select it. And you actually see your favorites that you've identified. These happen to be mine, including the puppy dog that's out there. Or just go ahead and unclick that. We're back to our general listing. How do we add a favorite as an object or a material to our favorites list? You can go ahead and select an item as possibly this plant, this tropical plant. And notice in the upper left-hand corner, there's that same heart. So if we actually select that heart and colorize it, it's red, we can go ahead and identify it as a favorites to our list. And if I hit my back button up there and go back to my favorites list for objects, these are mine. The most current favorite is going to be listed down at the bottom of my list. And there's that new tropical plant that we just talked about. So it's a nice way to have these items accessible to you every time you're working on a new project or an existing project as your grouping of favorites. That's objects. And then if you want to go ahead and start looking at finishes, paints, and materials, you can go into the colors. And of course, we could go here in the United States looking more like Benjamin Moore collections, finding ourselves a series of paints. Notice the eyes in the upper right-hand corner of each palette sample. If I say that I want to favorite this color for future usage, I can go ahead and hit that little eye up there. And I have an option right there with the tab, there's that heart again, to add to favorites. So if I say I'm going to add this particular polar jade to my favorites, because I love that color, want to use it again and again and again, it'll be in my list. And of course, you can go back to these colors in your list and remove them from your favorites. If you change your mind, hit our back button up here real quick. And let's see, where are those favorites? Yep, there's the heart again. Select that heart for colors or paints. And sure enough, these are our colors as my favorites. So there's that polar jade color, again, available to you. And there's no reason why we couldn't go back into our colors up here, not my favorites for a second. And this window up here at the top, this is where I think you already know this, but if you had a custom paint color that's not identified in our lists of color vendors out there, paint vendors, you can go ahead and Google search any paint company, the name of the actual color from your fan deck, and then ask Google for the hex number, HEX, the color code, the numeric value that is the color mix for that paint. If you enter that inside our window up here, we Floor Planner will actually custom mix the paint. And in turn, you can also even favorite custom mixed paint colors so they're easily accessible to you. This also works obviously for materials also, that we can go ahead and you can see in the upper right hand corner also you have these eyes up there where we can select these as materials and add this songbird wallpaper sky French blue to my favorites. And as it being added to my favorites, again, there's the heart up here in my finishes. And there is that paint, excuse me, wallpaper now available so that I can utilize it on a frequent basis and always have it accessible in my list. So those are favorites. And of course, the limit on those favorites for your basic free account would be 20 of them. And yet, if you wanted to do more, certainly do upgrade your subscription level to plus or higher, plus up through enterprise accounts. Let's talk about groups. Now, groups, as we're in the 2D view currently, I am using a Windows-based PC for my demonstration, just FYI. Groups is to take your objects and put them together. You can select an item and you can hold your shift key and select a second item and you put them into a temporary grouping and we can drag them around with my mouse. While they're selected, I can copy the grouping, I can flip the grouping both directions, I can rotate it 90 degrees, I can delete what is grouped. I can also, on the left-hand tab up here in the upper left-hand corner, this window would allow me to actually change the rotation to a specific degree, raise from floor a certain height, and the same features over here as to its copying, duplication, flipping, and rotating, or just delete the item over here also. That's the temporary movement of a grouping, which you're probably all very familiar with. Yet, if you want to go ahead and group items for future use, actually make a dedicated saved group, named group, you can create a group of objects and save that grouping for future use on another project, a brand new project, an existing project, and groups, you can go ahead and create for that basic free account a limit of 5 groups for free. Otherwise, if you're plus or higher, you can do multiple groups in storage. This comes in really handy, especially for me for accessorizing. So if you had a typical shelf that you wanted to go ahead and put on some books, a small plant, a couple picture frames, a couple candles, and for personalizing your space to accessorize your model at the very end to really give it some flavor, it takes time to accessorize a shelf. But if you had made a group of items in advance, maybe a shelf A, shelf B, shelf C, you can have them available to you very quickly and go ahead and put them inside your platform and then place them on the shelf accordingly. But any which way, multiple items in a grouping. If I hold my shift key and my left mouse click, I can make and drag out a selection window over maybe that plant, that sofa, and those 2 end tables right in front of it, using them as scatter tables as a cocktail table, and let go. And those items are also then selected. Well, with them being selected to make a group, over on the left-hand side, you'll see number one, the tabs at the top. You can deselect or select items inside that selection window that we just created if you care to, with the check boxes up here. And if you have identified what you want in the group, you can hit the Create Group button over here on the left-hand side, Create Group. And you can rename that group. I'm going to call it Bob Sofa Tables Plant. Put that all together and say submit. And what happens is that group in that selection window has been made as a saved group. And these are the items that are in that group. Okay, now that it's been created and it's part of my subscription, every time I work on a new project, existing project, etc., they're available. where are the groups? If you go over here to your objects tab on the left-hand side, you will find not the favorites. Let's go ahead and you have your categories, your brands, your groups. So if you select the groups tab under objects, in fact, there is the one we just created. And if I want to use it again in this as a full grouping, I can just left click and drag it straight away right into my project again and utilize it a second time. So groups come in very, very handy. So talking for the end of the year, December 2024, surely there have been changes, modifications made to the basic free account subscription, and some limitations for the maximum 5 free projects that you can create. And yet those 5 free projects now have additional benefits. The 3 stories, multiple stories that you can build, the groups, up to 5 different groups that you can create as a basic account, or the favorites, up to 20 different favorites. Yet upgrading your level of a subscription up to a plus or higher, you then gain the benefit of multiple groups, not limited to them, and also the favorites, as many as you need to make, and having those available to you for sure. I think that will wrap up our year for 2024. Appreciate you taking a few moments to review that with me and looking forward to making our next recording for January 2025, which will be coming out soon to talk about the new features, tools, and updates that are now available to you for the month of January. So until the next time, appreciate you being with me. I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day. Thank you so much.